What's up, guys? This is Big D, and I am the Grim Rider. Welcome back for the first time in a very long time for an episode of Road Stories. And Road Stories comes from my years of riding experience, and it's a collection of interesting and or funny experiences that I've had while on my bike out on the roads. And over the years, I've had several things happen, or several different experiences that I do find interesting and kind of funny. So I thought that I would share them with all of you. For any other road stories, be sure to check the Road Stories playlist right here on this channel. For our story today, we have an oldie but goodie. This one takes us back quite a ways. For this story, we've got to go all the way back to the summer of 2012. And in this story, I'm going to try to set the stage here for you a little bit. So I hadn't been riding all that long, maybe a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years, something like that. We're going back a ways. But I had joined up and started a chapter of the riding club that I'm actually still with to this day. And we started in January of 2012. And back then, I had a lot of other family members that were a part of it as well. My parents, one of my uncles, a couple of my cousins, things of that nature. So there was a lot of us family that were riding together at that time. And so on this particular day, we decided that we were going to jump on the bikes and we're going to go ride out to Sturgis. Sturgis, Michigan, actually, so not to be confused with, the end-all, be-all Sturgis that everybody knows about. But there is a Sturgis here in Michigan, and so, I don't know, maybe a week or so before we had realized that they were having some kind of festival down in Sturgis, Michigan. There's supposed to be some live music, and I think it was like a 3 or 4 day thing. One of those days was supposed to be like a motorcycle type event, but that was during the weekday. So we didn't get to see all of that. But we decided to go down there for the live music and all that stuff anyways. On this particular day, I had another one of my uncles joining the ride. And his bike is old school. I don't know the exact year right off the top of my head, but it's an old school shovel head. It's a real classic. And anybody that knows the old school Harleys may already see where I'm going with this. So anyway, we get together and we set off for Sturgis, and for the most part, the ride's going good, no real issues or anything like that. It was pretty warm, real sunshiny day. And finally, sometime into the ride, we get to a town called Coldwater. And as we're riding through the middle of downtown Coldwater, we happen to notice that my uncle, who is riding the shovelhead, is having some problems. He's got smoke just billowing out the side of this bike. It's just smoking up a storm. And so we pull over and what the hell is going on here, And come to find out, the coil on the side of the bike just decided to burn up to nothing. just like that. Didn't really give him any warning. It just fried right there on the side of the road. So luckily it didn't cause like a fire or anything, but now, here he is stranded on the side of the road in the middle of Coldwater. And so we're like, well, all right, well, what are we going to do now? So one of my cousins, and it was his brother-in-law, decided they're going to take off the rest of the way to Sturgis. And that was probably about another half hour or so away. It just so happens that there is a Harley dealership in Sturgis, Michigan. I think at the time it was called Hamilton Harley-Davidson. Not so sure on that detail either. But anyways, they went all the rest of the way down there, and just so happens that they had a coil that was going to fit this bike. And so they buy said coil and they make their way back. Well, then the next problem arises where we realize, and this was a rookie mistake on basically all of our parts, we basically had no tools to speak of in any of our bikes. So you're talking about being completely unprepared. That was us. That was every last one of us. So we're like, well, we have the part. We could fix it. I don't know how exactly we're supposed to go about that. So that same cousin that took off down to Hamilton Harley, he comes walking over, and he's got the solution. Well, he's riding a late 90s 1100 Honda Shadow. I believe it was a Shadow Ace, I think. Or no, Shadow Arrow, excuse me. And it just so happens that Honda has these nice little compact toolkits just tucked up right underneath the seats, you know. So he takes his Honda toolkit and he hands it to my uncle to, you know, fix his Harley. And you know how some Harley riders can be very prideful of their machine and it's Harley all the way, and yet he had to fix his Harley with this Honda toolkit. And so wasn't the happiest about it. Not only did he have to use the Honda toolkit, but he had to use the Honda toolkit to fix a part of the bike that actually, he said he had like 3 or 4 extra ones at the house. Even though that was about 100 or more some odd miles away, didn't really do him any good right then. So anyways, he puts the coil on, fires the bike back up. We go the rest of the way to Sturgis. So we get to Sturgis, and it was very lame. So we had this issue. We get all the way there. It's scorching hot. It was a very warm one that day, and it come to find out this particular event really wasn't all that was cracked up to be anyway. There wasn't a whole lot of people there where the live music was supposed to be. We couldn't get in. Because one of these family members had brought their small son, and they wouldn't allow him into the fenced-off area because there were beer tents and whatnot inside. So we got all the way there and basically couldn't get in anyway. So that was a complete and total bust. So we get back on the bikes, you know, and we start heading back home, and you know, we get almost back home, and we get maybe a half hour from home. There's a pretty busy intersection right outside of town. And the light was red as we were coasting our way up to it. But before we can get to a complete stop, it turns green, right? So, you know, we go to take right back off. As we go to do that, we hear this. Wham! Ding, 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 ding. What the hell was that? Well, come to find out, the shovelhead had another issue. So when my uncle went to shift into the gear he wanted, I don't know if it went into neutral or what happened there, but he wasn't in gear, and his shifting lever just decided to depart from the bike, and it just fell off and just tumbled down the street. So we somebody doubles back and finds wherever it tumbled to, picks it up, goes right back to all of us where we are now once again sitting on the side of the road, and hand him the lever back. Here comes my cousin with his Honda toolkit. And he goes and he hands it to him, and he goes, you know, this is the second time today that this Honda toolkit had to fix this Harley. And several of us were almost losing it because we could see just how upset my uncle was during this whole fiasco. So once again, he's got to use this Honda toolkit, and he puts the lever back on his bike, basically tosses the Honda toolkit, which was the savior of the day, back to the cousin. He gets back on the bike, and he just hauls ass, and he's gone. And he was not happy. We end up riding the rest of the way back, and with no other issues, and that's basically the end of the story. But it was just funny, basically, to all of us. Maybe not so much to my uncle, but you know, that the Honda toolkit had to come through and fix the Harley on a couple of occasions. So it's just a funny little story that I look back on today that it definitely makes me laugh. And I just decided that, now is a good time to share it with all of you, since I've got some things going on right now where I still can't quite get back out on the road, at least with my camera set up the way that, I want to do it, to get road footage for other ride videos. And I've actually got a couple other issues going on with vehicles and transportation and whatnot myself. Nothing breaking down or nothing, so it's not like it ties into this story, but I am having to replace a vehicle and have very limited time, so I haven't had a chance to get out and ride and record things like I wanted. So I thought I'd share what I feel is still a pretty funny little story, at least to me. So that's it for today's video and for this episode of Road Stories. I hope you liked my story. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't done it already, then subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified on the next videos that come up on the channel. So with that being said, I am Big D, I am the Grim Rider, and until next time, whether it's another ride, another road story, maybe just a shattered glass saloon just to talk something motorcycles, I'm not sure yet. We kind of just do this on the fly when the ideas come up. But until then, we will catch you down the road.